What's up, everyone? I'm Geralt of Rivia, obviously.
The likeness is uncanny. Yeah. I think Henry Cavill just walked in.
Yeah, well,
or
hey,
Cavill.
What's up? Just came off the next Superman movie to...
Spider-Man?
I don't know. Well, actually, if I'm going to do Geralt, I'm going to do it like they did in the audiobooks and be all like, I'm Geralt of Rivia.
Why was he Scottish in the audiobooks?
I don't know, but they made him have an accent. So, Yep. What's up, everyone? We're talking about me today. Or rather, the creator of me. That's me.
That's me. You're your own creator?
I am my own creator. I don't believe in anything. I'm Geralt.
That is so... I'm glad you picked that up from, just the video game and the little bit of audiobook was that he believes in nothing. He's a nihilist.
Yeah, not just a nihilist.
He has principles.
Yeah. Nihilist, he'd be like, what's the fucking point?
I mean, what is the fucking point? So for all of those people who are wildly confused, or if the people are watching you and are like, what the heck is Tyler doing wearing eyeliner?
Yeah, I tried to give myself a little pop in the eyes here. Right there.
It really does. They pop.
Yeah. So.
He is, you are the iconic lead of the Witcher series, Geralt of Rivia.
So yeah, we're a little discombobulated at the moment.
That's because Tyler is wearing beard spray.
Because I kind of threw Hannah off. She's like, all right, let's go. And then I walked in the room.
Yeah. Well, first you were gone in the bathroom for a long time. And
making a lot of noises.
I was getting a little suspicious. I was like, what is going on? And then he walks in and I just look up from the computer and I'm like, oh, so that's what we're doing today.
So podcast listeners, we are doing a video version of this, which Hannah has promised me someday soon it'll come out on our YouTube. That doesn't exist yet, but it will.
It will. And you guys... we'll be anxiously awaiting it before then.
Yeah.
So, in about a month, you'll all be able to see what I see right now, which is Tyler wearing a wig.
You get to see me mess with my microphones throughout the entire episode. You get to see Hannah rolling her eyes to the point of medical condition, it getting stuck like that. And you get to see me. Up close and personal.
You're really digging that camera.
I am.
Yeah.
It's just staring right at me.
You put it there.
I did put it there. Anyway, we've wasted enough time getting into this episode.
So for everyone who doesn't know what The Witcher is, which until 2 months ago was me.
Oh my God, I can't do this. I cannot wear this shit. I keep looking up at myself.
You got to keep it on for at least 10 more minutes.
All right.
Just be quiet for a second.
All right, sorry.
So here's your crash course on The Witcher. It's a fantasy book series from the 1990s that has been adapted for TV and video games. The main character is this guy, Geralt of Rivia.
That's me.
Him. He's a witcher, hence the title, and that means he was taken as a child, given all these potions, and basically put through hell, and then it genetically mutated him so that he's faster, stronger, and has an extended lifespan. So he's 100 years old in these books.
Yeah, and he can take potions that other people can't.
Yes, and they make him really strong. So it's like he's taking meth or something.
Yeah.
He was also trained to fight monsters because at the time that this fantasy series is taking place, the continent that serves as the setting is overrun by monsters. Despite the fact that people often need his services, witchers are generally despised and disparaged, and basically everybody hates them.
Yeah.
Because they're different.
Yeah.
Typical
Obviously,
humans.
I'm different.
Yeah. They're just jealous of his hair.
I don't know if you can see this. I legit have the pendant.
He's really committed.
I really committed. If I could have had yellow contacts, I would have.
You could have. They're just really freaking expensive and uncomfortable.
Exactly. And it takes a long time. This was the most last minute throw together ever.
I respect what you've done here, though. You look great.
Thank you.
So the story comes from the mind of Andrzej Sapkowski, who has been referred to more than once as the Polish Tolkien. So while we normally focus on the author's lives, it's a little bit harder to come by information on him, because he didn't really become super, super well known until recently-ish. Also, he's super fucking Polish. Almost everything about him is in Polish, and I don't read Polish.
I love how that's your excuse for not being able to dive into his life. He's like, he's Polish.
He's super fucking Polish. I tried Google translating some of his stuff from his website, and Google Translate doesn't do a great job at making it understandable. It translates the words, but I think it misses some stuff.
So the problem is not that there's not information, it's that it's not in English.
There's still not a lot of information.
Oh.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that since he's older, he also doesn't have like social media and doesn't advertise himself as much.
Oh, yeah.
Because like with contemporary authors in America, they put a lot of information about themselves out there online. But this dude's old. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, I've got millions and millions of dollars from this fantasy series I wrote, so. But I did cobble together some stuff from interviews that he's given, and also a huge shout out to Eurogamer.net for their super helpful profile that they did on him.
Eurogamer.net?
Yeah.
That sounds like when I made fun of streamers at the beginning of one of our episodes, and I stole that bit from Cameron.
They're these people. Probably.
Gamerboy 5000.
Yes. One of their writers sat down with Mr. Sapkowski and did a great profile on him. So a lot of the information that I'm going to be giving you on his background comes from that article, and we'll link to that on our site.
Cool. I'm just going to kick back as Geralt. People, the internet will eat you alive if you call him Geralt. Yeah, I know. And here's the thing. When I was listening to this book, they all have accents, right? So Geralt is, I'm Geralt from Rivia or whatever. And then, like, he would be talking to people with hard accents, and they'd all say his name, Geralt. But it sounded like they were all saying, get out. Get out. So they'd be in a conversation, be like, get out. You're like, this is so aggressive. Can you believe that they would do this to me? Get out. That's excellent. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start at the very beginning as our usual method. Yeah. So Andrzej Sapkowski was born June 21st in 1948, so that makes him 71 years old, in Lodz, which is the third largest city in Poland, and it's a former industrial center. He studied economics in college and worked as a senior sales rep for a trade company. He was like traveling around selling furs and stuff. But he was a huge fan of fantasy and devoured books as he traveled. One of the things he said was... Not literally. He didn't like... That's not what he sustained himself on. He read them. He ate them with his eyes. Oh my God, that's gross sounding. I'm gonna eat you with my eyeballs. Well, when you say it like that... That sounds like something that Geralt would say to somebody. Yep, but it would be sexy. Don't fuck with me. I will eat you with my eyes. And then with my sword. I will literally hack you to bits. But, he probably ate Yennefer with his eyes. Ew, gross. We're not to that point yet. I can't do it. I can't wear this anymore. Are you taking it off? You talk. I'm going to put something else on. Perfect. So, when Sapkowski was traveling for work, his first stop would always be a bookstore to try to pick up the newest edition of whatever fantasy series he was really enjoying. Tyler's very dramatically taking his clothes off right now. Ooh, good one. Thank you. It landed on a microphone over there. Another cool tidbit about Mr. Sapkowski is that he speaks more than a dozen languages. And I did see in one place that he started his literary career as a translator, especially of science fiction. And then he wrote his first short story called The Witcher, or in some translations it's The Hexer. He wrote it to enter a contest in the Polish science fiction/fantasy magazine called Fantastica. His son was a big fan of the magazine, so that's part of why he did it. He was confined to just 30 pages for this short story, which for him, he said, was a great struggle. He told one reporter he's written love letters longer than that, which, oh boy, I'd be overwhelmed if someone wrote me a love letter that was 30 plus pages long. Oh, that took so much work. Are you good now? I just need a breather. You don't need to breathe so heavily onto the microphone, though, for your breath. Oh, that's still so loud. Oh, my God. So, he's writing The Witcher. He decided to reimagine a fairy tale, but make it, quote, real. So, for an example he uses, that there's a fairy tale about a cobbler who kills a dragon, and Sapkowski in one interview said, it's a lie. Poor cobblers make good shoes. They don't kill monsters. Soldiers and knights, they are idiots, generally. So who's killing monsters? Professionals. You don't call poor cobblers apprentices, you call for professionals. So then I invented the professional. So nice. Basically, he just thinks fairy tales are stupid and wanted to make them more realistic. I find it funny. I caught on to that without knowing any of that shit.
And you're good at literary analysis, because I really didn't notice as I was watching it. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then you're like, that was Sleeping Beauty, right? And I'm like, holy shit, it was.
Yeah. I figured it out because in The Last Wish, which was the book that I read, you go through the first story and then you go into a little interlude and then you go into this second story, which as I'm reading it, I'm like, this is just Beauty and the Beast. And then I started thinking about the first one. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Sleeping Beauty. And so then it became like, as I'm listening to the next story, I'm trying to figure out what that one is, and that was really interesting to me. I really liked that, actually.
I did too, and knowing that he did that specifically to make them more realistic and like do his own take on it, I think that's really cool. Because obviously a lot of people do adaptations of fairy tales. But I think most of the ones I read before have been very literal.
Yeah.
Without much of the, reimagining happening. So I think he did a better job at reimagining them. So he submitted this 30 or fewer page short story to the magazine, and he waited a whole year for the results, and he was sad, thinking they must have hated it. He was just over there like, oh my gosh, my writing's not good. And then he found out that he won third prize, and the magazine published his story in 1986. He said it almost won top prize, and he thinks it would have, but fantasy was not very respected at the time. And I think that's kind of true now, too. In a lot of literary circles, fantasy tends to be dismissed, at least the highbrow.
That's super interesting to me, because you've got... I've been told that before. I submitted one of my books for an agency and all that stuff. I shouldn't have, but I did, because I thought that I had written the world's greatest thing ever. And the person wrote to me like, look, this has a lot of potential. This is really good, but one of the things is fantasy is not popular right now. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, actually, and I question that and wonder if he was just trying to be nice. Because that's kind of bullshit. Starting in 2001, 2002, Lord of the Rings came out, and things got really popular. And then, we just had Game of Thrones. Now we've got The Witcher. There's been a lot of fantasy stuff, and I jumped. I did a big jump, but there's been a lot of stuff that's really popular.
And that's true, but all of the ones that you mentioned right now were written pre-2000s. So a lot of the big titles in fantasy have waited a long time to get big.
That is interesting. Yeah, I didn't really think about that.
Well, it is fair, and fantasy, I think, is getting more popular, but it's definitely not one of the most published genres. The easiest genre to break into is romance, because they publish so many books every year. I think fantasy is a little more selective. But with that being said, his short story was hugely popular. So he had all of these people writing to him saying, more, he said. So since there was such a huge demand for a follow-up, he started writing more of the short stories that were largely based on fairy tales. And so then the first two short story collections were Sword of Destiny and The Last Wish, the one that we both read. Those were published in 1992 and 1993. And then he decided he wanted to publish a saga, and churned out one book a year until the series was completely done in 1999.
Jeez, I didn't realize he did it that quickly.
Yes. He said he specifically wrote it that fast because he remembered as a fan being disappointed when he would go into bookstores and try to find the latest edition or latest book in a series that he was enjoying, and it wouldn't be there. So he didn't want to disappoint other fans by making them wait a long time. So he's like the anti-George R.R. Martin.
The Patrick Rothfuss.
Yes.
Rothfuss?
I don't know how you...
Name of the Wind guy.
The Wind.
We're still waiting on book 3. Come on!
Yeah, he didn't want to do that, which I think is super nice. I feel like I would be that way as an author. I'd be like, oh my gosh, all these people are waiting.
I've thought about that, and I've talked about my whole plan for writing all of the books that I have. I've sat you down and forced you to listen to me talk about it.
It's a good plan. You just need to write them all.
I just need to write them all, and I need to write them better. And like, I don't know. I feel like there's a certain sense of like, yeah, once I start something, I want to finish it. But I also don't want to spend the next 10 years writing one story. My ADD won't allow that. So I have a plan for how to kind of manipulate that, where it's like, yeah, you're not going to get all of the one book series, but you'll get some books from me, and eventually maybe it will be the same. You don't know. So
I mean, I think as long as you're putting something out there, that's better than nothing. I think the problem with George R. R. Martin is he does nothing for 10 years straight. And actually, it's funny, him and Sapkowski are friends. They drink beer together all the time, really? Apparently. Yeah. So, too bad he didn't pick anything up from his Polish friend about sticking to a timeline. But anyway, so The Witcher, the book series, officially started in the early 90s. And then it's had tons of adaptations. The video game in 2007 by CD Projekt Red. There were comic books. And then in December 2019, the Netflix series was released. And I mean, that's when I found out about it. So
I had already known about it. I hadn't read it. I hadn't played the game. I knew about the game. My older brother's super into it. And he and I, when I started podcasting, 7-8 years ago, it was with Randy, my older brother, and we would just talk about nerd stuff all the time. And that was one of the things we ended up talking about, is like who would play a good Witcher. And like usual, I ended up agreeing with him because he thought way deeper about this sort of stuff than I did, and he wanted Mads Mikkelsen to play the Witcher.
That's so funny. That's who Sapkowski's second choice was for it.
Yeah. And so when we found out, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, that Henry Cavill was playing him, we were both really disappointed, because we're like, nah, we both envision Mads. But from what I've seen of the show, which I haven't watched almost any of it, but what I have seen of it, he does an okay job. And then on top of that, I've watched interviews with him, and I'm more excited to watch the show because he was super excited to be a part of it.
He was a huge fan. He said he played the video game first and then went and read the series. And I just love it when actors who actually like the source material get to play the person. And he does all his own stunts, which is super cool.
And he talked about, we get it. Henry Cavill's the greatest. He's good looking.
I didn't want to like him at first because he's so pretty.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking annoying.
But he seems like very nice, actually, and I hate that.
Me too. But he talked about how he would spend like 2 hours in makeup every day, which I totally get,
You spent like 20 minutes just doing this.
And, Netflix, I'm available. Just give me a call.
If Henry gets busy.
Yeah. If you need to do like a flashback, or, I'll go grayer. I can do a flash forward if you need. Yeah. But he talked about how they started the rap party before the show was done filming.
Oh, really?
And so he legitimately was like, I think I'm just going to go to the rap party as Geralt. Like, I don't want to take this off, and I don't want to stop being Geralt. So, like, he really enjoyed playing the part, which I thought was really cool.
And I think he does a good job at it. He has that very, like, dry delivery and, like, that good scowl that I think really fits the character.
Yeah.
But another point on that, which I found amusing, was apparently Sapkowski used to tell people that his preferred actor for Geralt was going to be Kevin Costner, which, can you even imagine Kevin Costner playing this character? I mean, he's a little too old now. Maybe back in the day.
Yeah, let's go back to just after Waterworld. Postman came out. Dances with Wolves. Like, right after that. I could see Kevin Costner playing this role. It would be a completely different role. I think it'd be one of those situations where the movie's not the same as the book at all. But I could see it. I could see it.
There was actually a Polish film and TV series in the early 2000s adapted from this. And in interviews, Sapkowski criticized both original screen adaptations and said, quote, "I can answer only with a single word, an obscene, albeit a short one." So I don't think he liked them.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. He's not a fan of video games either. He's never
Is the Polish word for shit the same length as ours?
It's probably much longer with more consonants. And much like his name, I probably would have had to look up how to pronounce it multiple times.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so you played the video game a little bit, right?
I played the newest video game, Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, does the plot make sense? Does it seem like they changed a lot?
Here's my thing, okay? I start reading The Witcher, the Last Wish. And I mean, first scene in the book is some sex. Am I right?
This is your biggest pet peeve with most stuff too.
First scene is some chick getting on top of him and requiring him to be inside of her. I can't remember exactly what the phrase was, but and then it goes into him feeling up her boobies. And I've been told before that there is a lot of this stuff in these video games too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I buy the video game, and I'm like having real conversations with my wife of like, hey, are you okay with this? Are we going to be all right with this? And she's like, yeah, we're both adults. We can deal with it. It's fine. I played 6 full hours of that game and didn't see one goddamn boobie.
I want that quote on one of our teasers for this episode.
No boobies.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I did see Yennefer's butt.
Okay.
And I saw a whole lot of Geralt.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, in a bath.
Ew.
A few times.
Well, that's an iconic scene, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really sorry that there were not enough boobs in the video.
I'm not saying I required boobs.
No,
I'm
but you
just
were misled.
I was about to say hopes up. I didn't get my hopes up. I set the expectation that this is going to happen, and it didn't.
There's a decent amount of nudity in the TV series. Not nearly as much as Game of Thrones, but
isn't
there's some.
The whole scene where he first meets Yennefer just like a big orgy? I thought I read about that, and I was like, that's one of the reasons why.
It wasn't like that in the book, though.
No, not even a little bit.
Where did all these naked people come from in the TV show?
He goes into her room, and she's just waking up.
Yeah.
That's it. But Netflix, this is exactly what I've talked about. Exactly what I've talked about. You can have stuff in a book, and even if it's sexual, it's not graphic, and it's not sensual. It's not trying to elicit little teenage boys coming in their pants while they read it. But the second that a TV show gets that, they're like, we gotta take it and we gotta make it bigger and more sexy, and then they just invent shit that doesn't even exist in the book.
Yeah. What's up with that, Netflix? Although I did feel like that opening scene that you were talking about in the book, in The Last Wish, I was like, what the fuck is the purpose of this?
It's just to show that he can get it.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like we could have figured that out otherwise, but whatever.
I'm legit not trying to be a prude about this. I'm okay with it for the most part. It doesn't get on my nerves when they have to create stuff from the book that is not there because they have to elicit that I don't know.
Well, I feel like just because they have no restrictions, they feel like they need to
do it, yeah.
Go all out. And
we're HBO. We can make a Game of Thrones. Boobies everywhere. We're Netflix. Orgy scene.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So the Netflix adaptation was actually the first time the author ever visited a film set. And it seemed like he has been having a fun time. He interviewed with the showrunner and everything, and I think that would just be super cool, especially as an older author, getting to do that for the first time and really appreciating seeing your work come to the big screen, as it were.
Yeah, I like how that's the ultimate thing, though, right?
For an author.
Yeah, it's when they make a movie out of this.
But I think
you don't write a book just to be a book anymore.
No, but don't you think about that with your own stuff? In your head, you're like, who would play this character? Or wow, what would it be like to build this whole world in a set or something like that?
Because I grew up watching movies and stuff like that. Then of course I do that.
I assume they have movies in Poland too.
And generally, when I'm writing, I write the scenes, the movies that I'm watching in my head already.
Yeah.
So it's
That puts a lot of pressure on it, though.
Yeah.
Like, when you know that the writers already envisioned that. Like, in one interview, the showrunner asked him, she asked him if he was afraid of anything going wrong, basically, in her adaptation. And he said the funniest little line. He said, "No, because you cannot judge the soup by the groceries," which I have no idea what that fucking means, but...
You cannot judge the soup by the groceries.
It's like you can't look at, the potatoes and the celery out on the counter and then determine whether the soup is going to be good.
So is he saying it's not done yet? So I can't know if it's going to be good?
He can't know until he watches it.
I would agree with that completely.
Yeah.
100% I would agree with that. And only because I made mac and cheese last night, like homemade, and it required me to make a roux.
What is a roux? It's
when you combine butter and flour and cook them together, and then you add milk and whipping cream. Legitimately. What? So in the order that I made it, with Rebecca's help, is I melt the butter in there, throw the flour in there. Trust me, I'm getting to a point, so I'm not just turning the show into a recipe show. Butter melt, throw the flour in, whisk it up, and it gets all gross. And like
weird,
lumpy,
chunky,
yeah.
Ew.
And then she starts pouring in the whipping cream, and I'm like trying to whip it. It's all like the butter comes back out of the flour as it like lumps together and creates this gross brown substance. And then we start adding milk, and then as you're adding milk, it slowly starts to turn into what could be considered a sauce. And then you have to add the cheese after that. It's very particular. And I've told Rebecca this. I was like, Who fucking did this process the first time? I'm like, no, that's I want that to happen.
We're gonna get somewhere from here.
Like, this is good. Who watched that and went, no, this is what we want. So the point being, I legitimately agree with that, because it's like you cannot, until the final product is done, you cannot just be like, no, it looks shitty.
No, yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with green screens and stuff. That's a great
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, green screens especially, and VFX, and yeah, there's a lot that makes the groceries into a soup.
I'm sorry, I keep looking at my hair.
Don't look at your hair.
But the gray in the hair.
I mean, the gray in the hair looks amazing.
I actually like it.
Tyler's gonna go gray now, like fake gray, and it's gonna be great.
I'm gonna dye my hair gray.
Did you read the whole of The Last Wish?
Yeah.
I did too. Did you? Because the timeline on the show is very confusing, and I think a lot of people have commented on that. Like, you don't know what the heck is going on until like 4 episodes in or something, and then you're like, oh, I see, we've been in the past this whole time, or the future, or stuff like that. Do you think it became clearer with the book or less clear?
I mean, with the book, it made sense because they led into certain stories with certain things, like the whole thing on the edge of the world. Story, like they led into it with them meeting up and then talking about that. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of went with it.
Yeah.
I knew that it was a collection of short stories, so I figured he wrote each of these stories separately, and then when they wanted to put them together in a book, they came up with this idea for how to connect them all into one novel. So I kind of went into it with a grain of salt of like, yeah, this is kind of bullshit. It's just a bunch of different stories that they're trying to weave together.
Yeah. And, I mean, they don't necessarily take place in order or anything like that. Yeah. I think I had a better sense of the timeline for the book because I'd seen the show, so I was like, oh, I know when this scene is taking place or whatever. Because in a lot of them, he doesn't fully establish the time that it's taking place. He's not like, oh, and 3 years before that last story, like, here's this story.
He just kind of does it. And I'm okay with that. I don't need to know a specific timeline because it doesn't seem to really matter. Mm-hmm. You know, like, each event can be its own event, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? The only thing I think really that can mess with that, and I think the reason why it does mess with that in the show is because they show Ciri as a much more important character. That's her name, right?
Yeah.
Ciri?
The little girl?
Yeah, because she's not even in the book. She is alluded to in the book.
Yeah, she doesn't really show up until the saga.
Right.
And I started reading Baptism of Fire, which is like the 3rd or the 4th book. Uh-huh. So she's in that a lot more. So I think the short story collections really kind of set up the background for it.
Yeah.
Like there's that one where he's talking to Iola or whatever, and that kind of sets up who the Witchers are and how they got the way that they are. So a lot of the like suggested reading orders that I've seen have been read the short story collections first, and then you'll have all the background knowledge you need to get into the main saga.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it introduces you to the world in like short, manageable bites, and then you can just go full steam ahead for the stories.
Full books.
Yeah, so the Netflix show is almost exclusively from the short stories, I think, and a lot from The Last Wish.
And that makes sense. You can serialize it a little bit easier with short stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically already an episode for you right there.
Almost.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little bit longer than I would want an episode to be, but yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Did they do all of the stories from The Last Wish?
I'm hesitant to say all of them.
Did they do the one with the Beast? The Beauty and the Beast adaptation?
I think they did. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and check that now.
Yeah. I
know they did the Sleeping Beauty one. That was like
That's like a big one.
That was a shocking episode. I was just like, there is a lot going on here.
Yeah.
And then I remember reading the one with the little monster who was hiding out in the hemp field. And I think they did that one too, because I remember... Oh, they definitely did, because he got hit in the head with rocks and stuff and then kidnapped by elves.
Yep.
So, like, that was great. Also, I love that it was hemp fields in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now I'm reading it with hemp being such a huge thing in the U.S. and everybody freaking out about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
They made rope out of hemp.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. Okay, Poland. You're way ahead of the U.S. on this one.
Yeah, there's the one with the Beast, and then the one with the Shrike, which was the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Mm-hmm. They had that one in there as well.
I think they had that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they had, what's her name? Like, Renly or something? What is the girl's name?
Shrike?
But, like, yeah.
Her princess name?
Her princess name. That was one of the main... I think that might have been the first episode.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, they set her up to be, like, this huge character, and then, bam. You're just like, oh.
Well, this is over. And the story is pretty sad, too.
It is a sad story.
A lot of them are sad.
They are sad. They make you think about life. And I think that's one of the things that I like about Geralt as a character is, like, he's set up to be this cold, dispassionate dude who only sees black and white. But he has some of the, like, wisest lines in it.
Oh, yeah. And I think that comes from his neutrality. Mm-hmm. Like, the fact that he's trying to stay humble and stay in the middle. He doesn't... You know, like when he, in the story where he's talking to the guy who is a beast, mm-hmm. and they're conversating, like they sit down and have wine together and talk, and the guy's like, "Well, I'm obviously a monster. Why aren't you killing me?" He's like, "You're not a monster."
Right.
You know, like, and like that's Geralt's way, is like being able to have a conversation with someone who everybody else would be afraid of, or the same with like the Diablo, you know, that where they're like, you know, go get rid of him, but don't kill him. And he's like, why? Why don't you want me to kill him? But why get rid of him? Like, he asks those questions. He wants to understand them. And he goes there, and when the bard starts to taunt it, he's like, dude, shut up. We need to talk to this thing. And I think that's where Geralt's twist, I think his novelty comes from that. You don't see a lot of characters that are very neutral like that. They're generally like, I'm gonna stand for what's right, you know, and I'm gonna fight the bad guy, and he never does that.
No,
he never goes, I'm going to fight the bad guy because I have to. It's always because they leave him no other choice,
right?
And that's what makes the Shrike story so sad.
Mm-hmm. And they portrayed that really well on the show as well. Like, you could see throughout that whole battle sequence, he really, really didn't want to kill her.
Yeah.
But she left him no choice. There was one quote in the book that I really liked where he was talking about monsters, and he said, people like to invent monsters and monstrosities, then they seem less monstrous themselves. When they get blind, drunk, cheat, steal, beat their wives, starve an old woman, when they kill a trapped fox with an axe or riddle the last existing unicorn with arrows, they like to think that the bane entering cottages at daybreak is more monstrous than they are. They feel better then. They find it easier to live. And I was just like, oh, got chills there.
Yeah, that's a great line.
Yeah, you need that that character just looking at humanity and kind of holding up a mirror to them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's probably why people hate him so much in part. It's like they like to make excuses for themselves, and he's not making excuses for anyone.
Right. Or himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what resonates with me is like, especially over the last couple of years, I've been trying to be more of an honest person. I spent my late teens and early 20s lying about everything and trying to get away with it. And so in my late 20s and now in my 30s, I'm trying to be really honest. And that's like giving myself permission to tell people how I feel honestly about things, you know, and it pisses people off a lot because they'll be like, I don't like that you're doing this, or I don't believe you. I don't think that you're telling the truth. I think that that's dumb, you know, and that calls people out. But it's like, end of the day, it's just how I feel. And I'm not going to change that. Or if I do change it, I'll change it after I do some introspection and work through that. But right now in this moment, that's how I feel. And I'm honest about that, and I try to look at the world honestly, and I think that's why I like Geralt so much. And I'll be honest, I liked this book a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Really?
Yeah. Or rather, I liked Geralt a lot more than I thought I was going to. I thought he was... Basically, Geralt is Henry Cavill for me, because you look at Henry Cavill, you look at the actor, and you think... This guy's such a douchebag. Like, he has to be a douchebag. He can get any woman he wants. He's going to get all the ladies. He's
literally Superman.
Yeah, he's Superman. He can, you know, he's got the best job ever. But then he's just nice. And you're like, fuck you for being so nice. And so Geralt's the same way. Like, I always am like, oh, he's just out for some puss, you know? Like, he just wants to get the next girl and get laid and all that. And that's not necessarily not true, but in that, he's being honest about it.
Yeah.
He's never like, oh, I'm doing my thing.
He doesn't trick them. He's not like, oh, I love you and only you.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, he shows up and they're like, hey, you want to do it? And he's like, yeah, obviously. Like, I'm a dude, so.
I just got done slaying a monster. Yeah.
Oh, we're on opposite sides of this little conflict, and we're probably gonna kill each other tomorrow. Yeah, we can sleep together. That's fine. Like, I could use a stress relief, and then going on into The Last Wish. Like, how same with Yennefer. My biggest pet peeve is when a guy and a girl love each other for no fucking reason. When the girl is the most beautiful girl, and so obviously the main character is gonna get that girl, and like that sort of stuff is boring to me. It's dumb. It's useless. And at first, when Yennefer's introduced, that's exactly what I thought was gonna happen. The good-looking hero is gonna get the good-looking girl, and they're gonna fall in love just because. Mm-hmm. But the more you get to know them in the last story of this. Like, it's so crazy how quick they connect, and you start to root for them to get together, because you see the hurt and the pain that Yennefer went through in her life, and you see it because Geralt sees it, and so he falls in love with her because of it.
Well, and he sees it because it mirrors the hurt that he went through in his life.
Yeah, exactly. And so because he's honest and because he's neutral, he can look at her honestly and go, oh, this is what you really are. You're not actually a monster like everyone thinks you are.
Right.
You're something that was turned into a monster because of what happened to you in your life. And so I just like everything about him. I'm like, oh, fuck, I love that move. I love that line. I love the love that you have for that lady. Fuck, I can't help but like this guy. And so, yeah, I liked it a lot more than I wanted to. And I think it's because of that.
And I agree. I think the characters are a big part of the reason I like it, because I'm not usually a huge fantasy fan.
Yeah.
I tend to find that a lot of fantasy follows the same formula, basically, and it's all very similar and kind of redundant and predictable. But I really like the character of Geralt and Yennefer, and even Jaskier, who was Dandelion in the book, which is like, what the heck? I guess that was a translation thing, because Jaskier in Polish translates to like buttercup, and the translator was like, oh, that's too unmanly, so we're going to call him Dandelion instead.
What's the most manly flower?
Not a dandelion.
No, it's not.
I mean, there's no such thing as a manly flower.
Foxglove.
Ooh.
That's a manly flower.
I stand corrected, ladies and gentlemen.
I only say that because it's my favorite flower.
Because it like kills people, doesn't it?
I think you're thinking of nightshade.
Well, that too.
Wait, does foxglove kill people?
I don't know. I thought it was poisonous.
You want to hear a really sad but really nice story?
What?
Okay, so my mom's favorite flower is foxglove. And so whenever we'd go for a hike, she'd show me all the spots that she'd seen it. And so I kind of fell in love with it because of that. We had a dog for a long time. We got him when we thought he was 9 years old, and I think it turned out that he was 11 when we got him, and we had him for at least 4 or 5 years. So he was like 15, 16 years old by the time I had to put him down. And he's a big dog, and it was a really big deal that he had lasted so long. And this dog had come into our life when things were rough and tumultuous, and my mom went from one boyfriend to another boyfriend to another boyfriend. And me and Cameron, my little brother, we were in and out of her life because we would stay with our dad, stay with her, back and forth. So, and moving from apartment to apartment to apartment. The only consistent thing in my mom's life at that time was this dog, Koya.
Aww.
So, really sad. And eventually we all made the decision like, hey, Koya, we got to put him down. His life is just at an end. My mom couldn't do it. So I had to do it. So first, my mom and I packed him up, took him to Rebecca's house. Rebecca, my wife now, at that point, girlfriend. We took him to her house, and her family owns 14 acres. And we let him run around for like 3 hours, and he looked like a puppy again. He was so happy, and it broke my mom's heart because it's like, how do we put this dog down when he's so happy? And I'm like, yeah, but when he goes back to an apartment, he's not going to be good. It's not a good situation. So took him to the vet. Put him down. One of the saddest moments of my life. And then we took him back to Rebecca's property, and we buried him there on the property where he was happiest the last. And I put him right up at the top of this hill, buried him there, went on with my life. And the next spring, I came back. I mean, I would go back a lot. I didn't wait a whole spring before I went back to my girlfriend's house.
You never saw Rebecca again until that spring.
I had gone back, and I was driving down the driveway, and I looked over, just kind of remembering Koya, and I looked over, and there, where I buried him, was a patch of foxglove.
Aww.
Just growing right where I had buried him. And I went and picked one, took it to my mom, and gave her one as like Koya's he's still there.
Aww.
And so it was really nice and really, so I know that's a huge tangent and has absolutely nothing to do with The Witcher.
We shall henceforth be calling Jaskier/Dandelion Foxglove.
Foxglove. Maybe I'll name one of my characters Foxglove.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It is super poisonous though, people, so do not eat it.
Did you look it up while I was doing that story?
Poison Control says all of it is poisonous, potentially deadly.
Do not eat the foxglove.
Don't eat the foxglove. But yeah. So
I know I derailed us so hard with that story.
No, that's okay. I didn't really have anything else other than to talk about some fast facts about Mr. Sapkowski.
Sapkowski.
So I think he's a super adorable old man.
Oh, yeah?
I have a thing for adorable old men and just like watching them get excited or whatever about their stories.
I'm really sorry. You just said some terrible things.
No old men email me, okay? I don't want you to email me.
Sapkowski. Sounds like you've got a...
No, he's just like a little curmudgeonly grandpa.
Just dress up like this and...
It will not do it.
I'm trying to wink right now. I don't know if you can see it on camera.
I'm rolling my eyes. I think they might get stuck.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that I find so funny about him is a lot of like authors and creators in general, they're so nice to their fans and stuff.
Sure.
But this guy is not afraid to tell them that their questions are, quote, bull crap.
Really?
Yeah. I watched some interviews that were like Q&As with him.
Yeah.
And one fan theorized that his books started getting popular in America after the video games.
Yeah.
And he said that was bullcrap. He was like, they were already popular. And then another fan asked if he would like to live in the Witcher's world, and he answered, well, I can't, obviously. What difference does it make? That world isn't real. Are you insane, mister? He said, did you leave the asylum legally, or did you escape? And I'm like, oh my God, this dude is roasting his fans, and I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
It's hilarious. And all of that was in Polish, so I was just reading subtitles.
Some paraphrases.
Do you think you would be like that, or would you be one of the authors who like adores your fans.
At this point in my life, if I found any success in anything I do, I'd be so appreciative of all of my fans that there's no way I could talk like that to them.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I would. If I had an event where more than my mom and wife showed up, and they were like, Tyler, we're so happy. We're fans of whether it's this podcast or a book I wrote or whatever it is, I would be in tears. Legitimately, I'd just be like, I don't know why you're here, but thank you.
I don't know why you like me, but I'm so grateful.
I would be very, very happy if anybody showed up.
Yeah, I don't think I would call anybody's ideas bullcrap either. I don't know if that's like an age thing or a success thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be both. It could be a cultural thing and
that too.
And an age thing.
They're not as soft as us Americans over in Poland.
No, they definitely know how to treat their fans there.
Yeah. The other thing I thought was funny is he doesn't like video games at all. So he hasn't even like played the Witcher video games.
Really?
Which if somebody made a video game out of my work, I don't like video games, but I would play the shit out of that. I would be like, oh my God, this is so cool.
You would just make me play it and you'd watch it.
Yeah, I'd watch somebody else play it.
We'll do a live stream Twitch stream of me playing it and you watching it when someone makes a game out of your book.
Yeah. That would be a really boring video game. I don't think my books are suited for that.
I would make sure that they made a part of that game that you can confront anyone in the game and say that they're the murderer. And I would spend the entire game just assuming everyone was the murderer.
This is why Tyler can't read my books.
I mean, I did. And you know what? This is bullshit. You haven't let me finish your book, so I still don't know who did it. All right.
Do you have final thoughts on our friend, Mr. Sapkowski, whose first name I'm avoiding saying because I think I've been butchering it?
Andrzej.
I don't know if you pronounce a Z like a Z.
Andrzej.
That seems longer.
It just started sounding
That sounded Tolkien.
Yeah, like some orcish or something.
Yeah, some orc. I mean, I'm sure he'd approve of that. Not really, because he would
or
probably...
Klingon. It almost sounds like Klingon. Huh? No, I kind of got into my little sermon earlier about why I think I liked this a lot. The video game was fun while I played it. Like I said, I only really got like a few hours in, and it's such a massive game that I didn't get to do anything. I did a lot of wandering around. I rode on Roach, which was cool. That you get to play on be on Roach. It takes place after all the books.
Okay.
Apparently, that's what I've heard.
So do you get through all of the books in the first two video games then?
No, all of the video games are after the books.
Oh, they all start after it? Oh.
Yeah. So there's that. It looks like a video game. Like I said, a few butts at the beginning, no boobs at the beginning, but you work your way up to the boobs. By the time you're level 5, I'm sure you'll see some boobs.
Out of context, that would be great too. You work your way up to the boobs.
Oh my God. Are you going to just do a super cut of every time I say the word boobs in this episode?
I mean, it's your own fault for saying boobs so much that there can be a super cut.
You're absolutely right. And so, the game was really fun. And what I liked about a lot of stuff was like that I had read the books, and so I knew a lot of the lore going into it. Obviously, I don't know all of it because I have yet to read any other books. And if I wasn't so damn busy reading books for this podcast, I probably would continue to read all of the series.
Oh, that's high praise.
It is.
I want to read the other short story collection for sure.
You think it's worth it?
I like short stories.
Yeah? I think I might pick those up then, because that's not as much of a commitment.
No, and it's easier to stop midway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still working on Harry Potter.
Oh my God. We've had that discussion before.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, he's left the door open to writing more, I think, now that it's becoming popular again. And I think there's one that either just got translated to English or has yet to.
Okay.
Because the English translations are like far behind the actual publication schedule.
Why is it like that? I mean, I'm not going to just assume that everything should be in English, obviously. But, like, at this point, why are they not doing it simultaneously?
Well, those would have been ones that were written a while ago. But it actually came up when I was reading the biography for Douglas Adams, our last episode, is that it's just really hard to get stuff to America, like, to popularize it here. It's like everything that Americans put out there media-wise is instantly in other countries and, like, beloved in other countries, but we don't really reciprocate with other people's stuff. Even English writers, it's hard for them to break into our markets. So, yeah, I think we're too elitist over here. We're snobs.
You can have our stuff, but we don't really want your shit. So.
Yeah. But no, I think in this day and age, it seems ridiculous that you can't translate stuff faster.
Yeah, agreed.
But maybe there's just a shortage of people who know Polish and English well enough to do the translation. Because translating is really hard. Because you don't just have to, like, get the words right.
You have to get that feeling.
You have to get the feeling. So even if it's not... Sometimes a literal translation doesn't work because it doesn't work for the story. It doesn't have the feeling or the meaning behind it.
Sure.
So you've got to be really good.
Like when I was trying to figure out how to call myself the werewolf in Spanish. So I was like, I'm El Dante Lobo.
The devil wolf?
No, Dante is like where, like, but it's like, where are you?
Oh, donde.
Donde, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, so it doesn't literally.
Where's the wolf?
Yeah, and so I'd be like, I am El Donde Lobo, and people are like, where's the wolf? Like, no, I'm the werewolf, duh.
Don't do literal translations, guys. This is why Google Translate still didn't work.
Should that be my new hashtag?
Donde Lobo?
El Donde Lobo. Tie the Samurai and El Donde Lobo. We're creating our own comic book series.
And just about you and your different personalities. Tie the Babu guy and the Donde Lobo. All right, I think we said all the things we need to say.
Agreed.
As usual, we want to thank Jake Basson for our awesome intro music. I jam out to that every single time I hear it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really embarrassing. I should not dance. But you can find him at soundcloud.com/Jake Basson. He has lots of other amazing music of all genres and types.
Yeah. And then you guys should subscribe to our show, either on iTunes or I should say Apple Podcast, because it's not iTunes anymore. Apple Podcast or on Spotify. I've had several people this week tell me that they found our show on Spotify.
That's awesome. We love hearing stuff like that.
So they, like a friend of mine was like, I didn't realize you were on Spotify. Now I'm listening to your show. So if you're on Spotify, subscribe to us. If you know someone who's on Spotify, subscribe to us there. Anywhere else where you get your podcasts, subscribe to us. It really helps us see some numbers.
And while you're subscribing, you should always rate and review us, especially on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it does.
It really helps. Seriously, you take 2 minutes out of your day and just say, I really like the show. Tyler told me to write this, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And
the most important thing to do, Tell a friend.
Wow, that was weird. Tell a friend about our show, guys. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks, Ghoul Gang, for hanging out. Yeah, I said it. And Hannah, you want to give us a catchphrase for our outro?
Subscribe.